Don't you sweat it, baby, it's alright. You were dancing da da da. So hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Laura Jenkins and I like to talk about books, do fun activities surrounding books and sometimes do little reading challenges depending on how I'm feeling. But today we're doing something a bit more chill, hence the change of surrounding. I am on my bed because it was cold and my bed is comfy. Do I need an explanation? And so today I thought that we could do a little tier ranking, something a lot more chill, laid back, a lot lower effort for me because editing and filming all these videos takes up a lot of time. And so we are going to be tier ranking BookTok books. To find these books, I went on Goodreads and I found 3 book lists that were like best BookTok books, best romance books, and there was a third one, I don't remember what it was. And obviously I had to go through and find the ones that I had read because I realised there are a lot of BookTok books that I have not read. So here goes me thinking that I'd read all the books that were not even slightly. So yeah, so I have on my computer a little, I don't know if you can see, but a little tier that I made. And there are about 40 books on there. Today we're basically just gonna be going through that and having fun. So obviously just want to preface by saying this is my opinion on these books. If you guys really liked a book that I didn't, or vice versa, that is like, don't come for me. That's not a commentary on anything. Reading is very subjective, and as it should be. Everyone has different tastes and everyone will like and dislike different things. Without further ado, let's get into it. So I have here, I have my tiers. So the bottom tier is now go stand in the corner and think about what you did. So obviously Taylor Swift from Better Than Revenge, because just I was like, what can I name a tier of terrible books that I didn't like? And that popped into my mind. The second one is Lost in the Haze of Youth. That's just a comment on like how good the books were. It's more that these are books that I read a couple years back and I vaguely remember them, but they didn't wow me because like I don't still remember every detail of the plot or even that many details of the plot. But they were still like good books that I enjoyed for the most part, but like they read a long time ago, so they're kind of hazy. Then the middle category is just wood smash, no caps, full stop at the end. I find that says what it needs to say. Like they were good books, would smash, but they also just weren't my favorite books. They were just like books that I read and enjoyed. Second to last category, so like the second highest category, is Dancing Through Life. So that is from Wicked, the first one. Dancing Through Life is a song that Jonathan Bailey sings and is so good. It is my second favorite song in like the entire thing, and it is such a good song, and the scene and Jonathan Bailey and everything is perfect, but it's not Defying Gravity. Like it doesn't give me chills. It's not like life affirming in the same way that Defying Gravity is. Does that make sense? Like Dancing Through Life is perfect and I love it, but it's no Defying Gravity. So obviously Defying Gravity is like the god tier reads. Moving on to god tier reads, my top tier level is I'm a God from Jennifer's Body by Megan Fox, because these books are gods and they know it, and they should know it because they're just that good. They know the power they have over me. I hope you guys noticed I still managed to get Fred in frame. He's like at the edge of the frame, but he's still in frame because it wouldn't be a video if we didn't have Fred. Okay, so the first book I have here is Heartstopper. So obviously, I think we all know where this is gonna go. This is more a comment on the series than the books because I haven't read the whole books, but I have definitely read the first one. But Heartstopper is generally a god tier series, TV show series or book series for me. I think about it so much and it's kind of my happy place. It's my comfort place. So Heartstopper obviously goes to the I'm a God category. Okay, so the next book is Yellowface. This was such a random collection of books. I find there are books on here that I had never seen on BookTok, and so I was kind of like, is this a BookTok book? But seeing as I didn't make the list, I was like, well, someone says it must be a BookTok book, so sure. Okay, so Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This was the first R.F. Kuang book I read and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I devoured it. I think I read it in like 2 days. It was like one of my first 5 stars of the year. So I feel like I have to put it in I'm a God. But knowing that Heartstopper is an I'm a God, this is not on the same level as Heartstopper. It's not like Roman Empire. Like it's really good and I do think about it, but not the same point. So maybe despite its 5-star status, maybe it's just Dancing Through Life. You know what? I feel good with that decision. I think that looks good there. Moving on, and this book, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book wowed me. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. and it was amazing, and I fell in love with it. I laughed, I cried, it was beautiful, it was sad. So I think we all know where this has to go, because Evelyn Hugo, she is a god and she knows it. So yeah, so this book was just so good. I need to read another Taylor Jenkins Reid book because I haven't read another one of her books and I really want to. I think the next one I would probably read would be Atmosphere. That's her most recent release and it seems really interesting to me. There's also Carrie Soto's Back. That one seems very fun. I really like challenges and I feel like this could kind of give challenges vibes in that it would be nothing like it, but it would be tennis. Next off we have Ray Bearer. So I was so surprised when I saw this on a BookTok list because I generally thought that this was like an obscure book that only I had read and that no one else knew of. Apparently other people do know of its existence. So like take this list with a pinch of salt. But either way, this is my tier ranking, so I also make the rules. So you guys just have to watch. Ray Bearer should kind of go between two categories. Category 1 would be Lost in the Haze of Youth because I read it so long ago. The details are a bit fuzzy, but at the same time that book genuinely changed my approach to reading and the content that I want to read. Like if I had to split my life into a before and after in terms of reading, Ray Bearer would be the splitting point. Just it made me want to be more diverse in what I read and to read different sorts of stories, and I'm so grateful that it did because I have discovered so many new and interesting stories that are outside of the typical. I feel like Ray Bearer has to go in I'm a God because it literally, and you may think this is an over-exaggeration, but it is not. It changed the way that I read books and what books I read. So I think that has to go in I'm a God. Next off we have The Atlas 6 by Oliver Blake. So this is the first book in a trilogy, but I just did the first book. For books where like on the list there are multiple books from the series, I just put whichever book I came across first. So most of these, this is the first book, except for Kingdom of Ash for some reason, which showed up before any of the other books, probably because it's the highest rated, I think. So The Atlas 6, I read it a long time ago, did not like it. I read all 3 of those books. And I've heard the other Oliver Blake books are a lot better. So one day I do want to read another one of her books, give her a second chance, because I just do not think that Atlas 6 for me. It felt like someone was like, I want to write a fancy story with fancy words, but it had no substance, it had no plot. Especially did not like book 3. I felt like book 3, I read it and I did not understand anything. And not because I'm stupid, because the book made no sense. And I hated the ending. So The Atlas 6 goes in the bottom category of go stand in the corner and think about what you did. And I feel good about it being there. So next off we have 3 Dark Crowns by Kendrari Blake. This was one I didn't read for ages. My sister read the series because I think it's a series of 4 books, 3 or 4 books, and she said it was really good and I just didn't get around to it. And then when I did read it, I did agree it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's YA. It was about like 3 sisters who were raised apart and they all had an equal chance to the throne, but they had to like kill each other, and well, just the story of that. And it was very interesting. I did enjoy it. Unfortunately it has to go in the Lost in the Haze of Youth category purely because I cannot remember much details from that entire series. Moving swiftly on, and this one's going to be swiftly placed in the category, it is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. The most disappointing read of the entire year. I went into that expecting to love it because so many people said it was great, the banter was great, there was an epic plot twist, the characters were amazing. It read like shitty fan fiction. So right now go stand in a corner and think about what you did. Next up we have Happy Place, which I had the unfortunate experience of it being less good because I had seen a lot about it on BookTok. So I think if I had gone into it blind, just having read like the blurb and nothing more, I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But as it is, I did not. And so I do think because I had expectations about the book and it ended up not being like that, that just meant I was disappointed. I think I have to put that in the would smash category because I did really like it. It just disappointed me, which was really not its fault. It was purely a victim of circumstance. But anywho, would smash is still a good category. It's like a 3.5 star, you know? That's like decent. It's just not the best. Would smash. Next up we have The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I love this book. I very recently read the second book, loved it even more. Honestly, I do think the second book was better. If you are in the mood for just like a warm hug, read that book. This book, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good read. I thought it was really positive, and I feel that sometimes you just need a book that's just fully uplifting, and that is that book. So honestly, that is a dancing through life. You just know that book is friends with Fiyero. They're dancing through life together. Next off is 5 Survive by Holly J. Jackson. So this book kind of making me wish like there could be an extra category between Wood Smash and Lost in the Haze of Youth, because it wasn't a book I read in my youth. I read it recently. I read it in June or July, I think, but I don't know if I'd smash it. But it's also not worthy of standing in the corner and thinking about what it did. So Flash 5 wasn't bad, I just found it underwhelming. It was a really interesting idea, but just the story was kind of underwhelming, and I kind of saw where it was coming from. For a thriller, that's not really what you want, but it wasn't bad. I guess I have to put it in Wood Smash. That's kind of how I feel, with no caps. The no caps is how I feel about that. Very neutral. Next off is Cinderella is Dead. So this was a good book. It was kind of like 100 years after Cinderella. It was very interesting. I greatly enjoyed it, but I did read it a long time ago. This may be Lost in the Haze of Youth, and I wasn't even that young. It was only 3 years ago, and I'm not that old, so I wasn't that young. But I think we do have to put it in that category because I think that's where it belongs, flying through these, honestly. So City of Brass, that whole trilogy, the Daevabad trilogy, was so good, except for the last book. The same thing happened as with Happy Place, in that my sister told me that the ending was absolutely devastating, soul crushing, and so I just went into it thinking it'd be worse than it was, and it wasn't as bad as she said. So I was disappointed, which made it seem even more underwhelming because it just wasn't what she said, if that makes sense. It was a letdown. Not a letdown, the book was amazing. That was just my personal expectations let me down. So I would say City of Brass is Dancing Through Life. It's not a god tier series, it's a really good series, but I don't think it's god tier. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I read that whole trilogy. Really good trilogy. TV show was terrible. We watched the whole thing. Like, it wasn't terrible. I think it was one of those cases is if you went into it not having read the books, you would enjoy it and it'd be a good TV show. But having read the books, they changed quite a bit, and some of those changes that I found were quite significant, especially to then what happens in the next 2 books, because they're all connected. But we're not here to talk about the TV show, we're here to talk about the book. I really like the book. I don't think it's Dancing Through Life category. Like, does it compare to Jonathan Bailey? No. It's probably a Wood Smash. I think the 3rd book is Dancing Through Life, but book 1 is just Wood Smash. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. See, I think that is one that unfortunately is Lost in the Haze of Youth, because I know that's a quite big, it's having like a comeback on TikTok. I think I feel like I've seen it more recently than I did like when I first started, and no, I don't really remember. I remember enjoying it, but as far as details go, I'm kind of hazy, so I think this has to go in Lost in the Haze of Youth, which is a really hard sentence to say. I wish I'd picked something easier to say. A Deadly Education. See, again, I was shocked this was on here because I thought this was a book that I had read and then not many other people had. So I've seen it maybe twice on BookTok, but I was very happy because I love this series. This was another, like, in Inside Out, they have core memories. This book was another core memory book for me. This whole trilogy, I loved it so much. So honestly, I think in hindsight, it's not quite, is it god tier? I'll have to think about that one. It might be god tier. These are some good questions I'm asking myself. These are some deep questions. You know what? I think it deserves god tier. I was obsessed with it when I was younger. I'm not even that much younger, like 4 years ago. I think it deserves to be in god tier. Up with Raybearer, for me, those were like the 2, there's a 3rd. The Cool Prince was the 3rd. The 3 like formative book series of my teenage years, like not my childhood years, but kind of like, you know, 10 to 17 years old. City of Bones. So City of Bones, I read the book purely because I'd watched the TV show and I'd loved that, and I found this in a second hand of like £2, and so I asked my mum if we could get it because I was a bit younger back then, I didn't have my own money. It had a topless girl in the front. I remember my mum looking at that and being like, what kind of book is this, like seriously? And then she read the back and realised it was like for kids. The book itself is unfortunately lost in the haze of youth, especially because I've seen the movie, I've seen the series, and I've read the books, because they don't follow exactly the same plot, obviously, because that'd be boring. There's slight changes. So all 3 of them are kind of melded in my mind, so I don't actually know what happens in book 1. I'm planning on rereading the whole Cassandra Clare Shadowhunters universe books, but that is probably an activity for next year. The Selection. So this is just, we're gonna put it immediately in Lost in the Haze of Lost in the Haze of Youth. Not an easy sentence to say. Next off is Girl in Pieces. I feel like this is a Wood Smash. Again, I don't really have much to say on this. I read it really quickly. It was definitely a very bingeable book, but I really don't think about it, and it wasn't amazing, so I feel like that just goes in Wood Smash. Honestly, Wood Smash should have been split into 2 categories, because there are books, they're not all on the same level, the books that are in there. Too late now. Next off, we have Red, White and Royal Blue by Desert Island book. It is the favourite book that I have ever read. So immediately it got tier. It wouldn't let me put it in God tier for a second there, but don't worry, that is God tier immediately. I have read that book 3 times. The most recent was in June and it still held up. It was still a 5-star read. It still made me cry, it made me laugh. It is honestly, I feel unthronable in like favourite book of all time. Next one we have Good Omens, and for Neil Gaiman, it's going Now Go Stand in the Corner and go think about what you did, and that's all we're gonna say. Once and Future Witches, again, surprised this was on here. This was the book that taught me to not judge a book by the blurb, because I had it for like a year on my TBR and it just didn't, the cover didn't look that interesting. I read the blurb and it was kind of like, yeah, there's better, and so I didn't pick it up. And then I finally forced myself to read it and I loved it. So that book is the reason that I've read like a lot of books on my TBR that I just would not reach for anytime soon, because I'm like, but what if they end up like Once and Future Witches? But it's not got here, so that has to go in Dancing Through Life. Okay, so next off we have Binding 13 and The Boys of Tommen. Those boys, I think about that series a lot. I feel like because it's so recent, I can't put it in my God tier. For me, something has to be God tier if like a year after I read them, I still love it just as much. I'm still thinking about it. It's a possible God tier. Like whenever the next book comes out, if I'm still equally as in love, then it will become a God tier. But for the moment, it's kind of like, it's like its application is pending, but it is so close to getting accepted into God tier status. Next off we have The Inheritance Games. So I read all 3 of these books. Couldn't really tell you what happens in any of them. Could not tell you. That is very much lost in the haze of my youth. A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I feel like that has to go in Wood Smash, because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Okay, next off we have Babel. So I read Babel this summer. Loved it. R.F. Kuang is just such an amazing author. I really enjoyed Babel, and I feel like it needs to go in Dancing Through Life with Yellowface because it was on the same level. Divergent, now that is a throwback. I've actually never finished the Divergent trilogy. When I was younger, I read the first one. I got maybe a quarter of the way into the second one, and then I got spoiled and found out what happens at the end of Allegiant, and it put me into like low-key into a depression, and so I just never finished the series because I did not want to get to what happened. So this has to go in Lost in the Haze of My Youth. Next up we have Fourth Wing, and I feel that just from the fact that Fourth Wing is what started this book talk journey and what reignited my passion for reading, it has to go in I'm a God. Fourth Wing is a God. Zayden Ryerson is a god. Next up we have Starling House. I read that this year. Same author as Once and Future Witches. It was so good. I loved it. But is it Dancing Through Life? Probably not. It's a wood smash. It wasn't as good as Once and Future Witches. Furyborn. So Furyborn re-taught me the lesson that Once and Future Witches taught me, because I read the first 2 chapters of Furyborn, just wasn't invested, put it down, didn't get to it till 2 years later, 2 or 3 years, when I read the whole trilogy and fell in love. So honestly, Furyborn, that's a Dancing Through Life. That trilogy was insane. Next up, we have To Kill a Kingdom. If it wasn't really mean to put a book that I don't remember in Now Go Stand in the Corner and Think About What You Did, it would be there. It has to go in Lost in the Haze of Youth. There was this moment it gave me a huge ick. During like the big fight scene against the mermaid's mum, the prince is like, I'm sorry, I don't speak bitch. And that just gave me the biggest ick. And thank God it was at the end, because if that had happened at the beginning, I would have DNF'd that book. And I don't DNF books. Caraval. So I feel mean putting Caraval on the bottom tier, but I feel like that's where it has to go because it's not a wood smash. I would never reread those books. I would not smash them. They're not objectively bad. They're just not at all for me. Shadow and Bone. Now see, love the TV show, but the first book just isn't it. I think it was maybe because it was the first book, so you can tell sometimes when it's a first book, the books often will get better by series because just the author will get better at writing. You'll get more invested in the world as well. That's a stand in the corner and think about what you did. Powerless, yep. I just don't get it. I don't see it. Moving on. 6 of Crows. I feel like just because I never finished that duology, it cannot go in I'm a God, but it is so close. I love 6 of Crows. That is the potential for God tier duology, but I need to finish book 2 first. But as it is, it's simply just Dancing Through Life. We're almost at the end. The Fault in Our Stars. I actually forgot that I had read this, but then I realized I knew the whole plot, but I've never seen the movie. So I had read it, so I think that tells you what category it goes in. The Cruel Prince, my 3rd formative series. This one is God tier. I cannot wait to reread that series. The next year is gonna be so busy, people. It's gonna be so busy. I've got a lot of plans. Will they be fulfilled? Who knows? But I have plans. I love that series. God tier. Can do no wrong. I could go on. but I don't want a boy. And then the last book is Kingdom of Ash. So I don't know why Kingdom of Ash came up first on the list and not Throne of Glass. So I feel like Throne of Glass, honestly, god tier series. I feel like the sixth one, not the sixth one, it's not the sixth, but the last one, it wasn't disappointing, but again, it was the exact same thing as the third book in the Die of a Bad series. People told me that it was going to be absolutely devastating, that it was going to destroy me, and it just didn't. So I felt underwhelmed. Because of that, the last book just didn't hit in the same way the others did for me, which is such a shame. So this is a dancing through life. So there we go. We have completed our tier. Honestly, I thought there'd be more books. It looks so small just like that. I'm happy with what we did today. It was a fun, kind of more chill video than usual. Didn't really need to do anything. Didn't need to remember any plots, which I am not very good at. But yeah, so I hope you liked this video. If you do, please don't hesitate to give me a little thumbs up. If you didn't, don't give me a thumbs down, just move on. This was nice, this was chill. Nice little activity for Bookmas. Not very Christmassy, but it is Bookmas, so this had the book part. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow